Charles Schulz once said, "There's no greater burden than great potential." And that's true. People who are mediocre you expect little of because they are mediocre. And that sounds terrible, but some people are fine with that. Some are fine with working their job, watching TV, going to bed, waking up, and repeating. But those who want more out of life realize that time outside of work determines what kind of man you are. It doesn't matter if you make minimum wage or millions. What does matter is that you can legally and financially sustain yourself and your family if you decide to have one. If your job is your primary metric for manhood, you're missing out on so much. What does matter, however, is what you're capable of. And I don't mean physically. However, being strong is certainly good. But I mean mentally. And if you are a Christian, spiritually. And I don't mean spiritually in a, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. I mean you need to know what you believe and be willing to stand for it. And that is a measure of spiritual manhood. And that's what I'd like to speak about today, standing. Not only when it comes to doing the right thing, but standing back up when you fail as well. That is what Abraham, Aaron, David, Solomon, Elijah, Peter, and so many others have in common. They are seen as heroes, yet they've all stumbled. What makes them heroes, though, is that they stood back up and eventually overcame their own failure and did what was right. Aaron made a golden calf while Moses was on the mountain being given the law. King David committed adultery, which led to murder. Solomon loved foreign wives who turned his heart from the Lord until he was older. Elijah, after his big victory against the prophets of Baal in the contest, wanted God to take his life because he thought he was alone. Peter denied Jesus 3 times, and then again when refusing to eat with the Gentiles just because some Jews came in. But they were led by God, and that's what made them great heroes of faith. That's actually not a true statement. Just because they were chosen from God does not mean they had to obey, which this proves. If they refused to obey, God simply would have chosen someone else. That's actually why Aaron became Moses' mouthpiece. Moses was making excuses when God told him what he would be doing. If your faith is never questioned, how do you even know what you believe is true? If you never fail, how do you learn the value of standing up and trying again? You actually learn far more from failure than you do success. It was through failing at everything else that I've ever done which made me stubborn enough to try this series of videos and to start this YouTube channel. So do not fear failure. Fear laziness, as it's far more crippling. Fear being inert. Fear God on that last great day. If you've hidden your talent, your ability in the dirt as the one talent man did, you should be fearing God. After all, the point of that parable is to use well what you are given, regardless of how much or little it is. And that's the spiritual application, but the physical application is the same. What good is your talent, meager though it may be, if you don't work to develop it?